compared to 120 degrees in Vietnam.
Right.
60 degrees or 50 degrees was like freezing.
Mm-hmm.
But we were almost home. And then from Anchorage, Alaska, we flew down to San Francisco, had our first steak dinner in the States, got new uniforms, and I got back on the plane and went back up to Seattle and stayed with my uncle and aunt for a week to kind of just unwind and just get my body back into sync. And after that, I came home to Detroit, and I'll never forget coming home. I was so excited to come home. We had to stop in Chicago, and the announcer at the airport said, "Flight so-and-so leaving for Detroit in 5 minutes." Those old OJ commercials where he's running down the airport, jumping to catch a plane, that was me. My shortest time in Chicago was 5 minutes. Getting off a plane, running down, getting on another plane, and taking off. I beat my luggage. They had to deliver my luggage 2 days later. But I didn't care. I was home. And so that was the beginning of my 45-day leave.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So do you have family and friends meet you at the airport or whatever?
No. No, I decided I didn't want them to meet because, you know, international flights, if you say you're going to be there at a certain time, they're never on time.
Okay.
And I don't want people running to the plane crashed, you know, is he okay, whatever. When I got to the airport, I called my family. An hour later, they picked me up.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, I guess that was a pretty joyous scene
Yes.
all around.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Very much.
Okay. Listen, now you're in Africa. What did you do there, and what was that like?
Africa was a different world. I learned history. I learned about the culture. I learned about how the Italians invaded Ethiopia in 1936 and how the emperor of the Empire of Ethiopia was put in exile for 7 years until the Ethiopians and the Brits defeated the Italians, and he came back to rule his empire.
Oh, okay.
I actually met him. I was as close as you to me with the emperor of the Empire of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, who claimed to be a direct descendant of the Queen of Sheba. And he toured the military base that I was at on the top of this mountain, and very short man.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't believe how short he was, but
Okay.
doesn't matter. He was an emperor.
He was in charge.
He was in charge.
Okay.
But then I learned about how, because the Italians had invaded, when they left, 10,000 Italians stayed behind.
Oh.
They intermarried with the black population, and the population of Ethiopia in the northern provinces, they spoke 2 languages.
Oh.
The native language was Amharic, and they also spoke Italian.
Oh.
So me, as a white boy coming to Africa, knowing English, I learned to speak Italian,
Oh.
so I could communicate.
Wow.
And I learned about the history, and I learned about the culture,
Okay.
learned how to water ski in the Red Sea, went on a safari with a camera. It was the best time of my life. That was the most, so totally different from Vietnam.
Sure. Yeah.
And my passport, of all things, said I was on official business of the United States government. So wherever I went through immigration ports, they never checked my luggage. And I thought, darn, if I had smuggled drugs or something, but I never did that. But then when I got to Italy after getting out of the army, first thing the Italian customs guys did, open the luggage, senor. I opened the luggage, there was nothing there except my stuff.
No, okay. Yeah.
And I was okay.
Well, okay.
But that was interesting.
Yeah, it was, really. Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes not knowing is good, I
Oh,
guess.
yeah, of course.
Right. Okay. So not to get into any secret stuff, but I guess you were doing similar things in Ethiopia militarily that you would have
Yes.
basically in the
We
West.
told the people there that asked us, we were doing deep space research. We were telling them that we were doing underwater missile battalion research. We were telling them that there was a tunnel that went underneath the Sahara Desert and back to the Atlantic Ocean and back to the States. We told them all kind of funny stories, and they believed them all. And you know, our bases, our areas where we worked were totally secure. And there was loud music playing all the time, so nobody could hear anything going on inside for a reason.
Sure.
And I bought my first motorcycle in Africa.
Wow.
Learned how to ride a Honda motorcycle, and I just loved it.
Yeah, you really had a night and day from Vietnam.
It was a night and day adventure. It was like the best experience of my life.
Wow. Your basic reward for Vietnam.
For surviving Vietnam, my last 2 years were good.
Yeah. So how long were you in Africa?